Chapter 6 The Point of No Return. This was starting to become the longest day of Trig's life. Ever since Tenna first appeared in the Overlooked Temple just 10 hours ago, one revelation after another seemed to have tumbled into his lap. And as Tenna marveled over the pair of linked crystals, he said as much. "This is a lot, yes," Panako agreed. "Young man, you are taking your first step into a much wider world." Tenna grabbed Trig by the shoulders and stared at him as though she had never properly seen a boy before. "You're Ralpakin's son? Really?" she said. "Oh my god, I have so many questions." Pentua looked nervous. "First things first, I need a better explanation," she said. "You seem to know a lot more than you're letting on, Panako." "I do," Panako replied. "Good lady, there seems to be a connection between these two children." Tenna let out an excited squeal, released Trig, and hopped on her toes. "Oh, you think so?" She spoke very fast. "I did say, when we ran into each other, I said, 'Are you the one of the guys who's trying to kidnap me?' And you said no, but—" Panako raised his hand to stop her talking. "So this boy has a premonition about a student getting caught up in an explosion. The girl is being hounded by, well, someone. And both of you are holding keystone shards. None of this bodes well." "Keystone shards?" Trig and Tenna repeated. Panako did not answer. He clapped his hands together. "That settles it. I need to investigate this further," he said. "Children, you must come with me to—" Before he could finish, Pentua grabbed both children by the backs of their outfits and pulled them towards herself. "Now hold on," she said. "Trig is under my care until Kara comes home for him. And once I talk to the Eddleton police, this girl will be going somewhere she'll be safe. I'm not going to let a mercenary take a pair of kids to who knows what." Panako deflated. He stroked his beard and thought for a few moments, and then said, "Well, ma'am, I understand your reason," he said. "You must do what's best for the children, but I do think there is something greater going on here. I'll tell you what. My team is leaving soon. The colonial government recently ran out of money to pay us, and we're already packing our bags. If you want to speak to me again, find me at Docking Bay KR-35 at the spaceport." Panako left. Pentua put her head in her hands. "What the hell is happening?" she breathed. Tenna turned to Trig. "So, you're like the Great Khan's son," she said. "Does that mean you're a scion like him? It would be so cool if you are." "I wish I was," Trig replied. "Knowing when bad stuff is going to happen is a really lame superpower." Tenna shook her head. It was a sight Trig found funny, because her long hair whipped around, and some of it got caught in her mouth. No, she said. "You could tell if there were bad guys or kidnappers around." That got Pentua's attention. "Ariha, forgive me. After all that's happened, I completely forgot about that. I need to call the police, and the two of you will not leave this house until I say otherwise, understand?" "Yes, ma'am," Trig responded at once. Tenna looked at him, then at Pentua. She let out a little gasp and said, "Oh, right. Yes, ma'am, I understand." Pentua stepped into the kitchen and dialed the police hotline on her cell phone. While she talked to the dispatcher, Tenna and Trig turned to each other. "This is so exciting," Tenna said. "Why do our crystals do that thing? Match up." "Maybe there used to be a bigger crystal, and it got broken," Trig suggested. "Panako knows what it is. He looked like he saw a ghost when we put them together." "And you really didn't know you were Ralpakin's kid?" Tenna asked. Trig shrugged his left shoulder. "Honestly, I don't know much about the Great Khan. History is like my least favorite subject in school," he confessed. Tenna bounced on her heels again. "Oh, I know lots about the Khan and his horde and the things they did," she said. "But I've never actually met someone from the horde before." Tenna walked around Trig, looking over his whole body. He felt very awkward. "You don't look like a Nagyari, though," she said. "You're the same thing as me, but a boy." Rubbing the back of his head, Trig said, "Hold on, Valdemar. We're not the same." "Okay, so you're brown and I'm white. Big diff," Tenna sighed. "And it's not like I've never seen or heard Birkin before." Trig started to come back with a retort, but then he paused. He had just noticed something that, frankly, he should have noticed much earlier. "Hey, Tenna," he said slowly, "you're speaking Olenbar." Tenna paused and raised an eyebrow. "So what?" "So, you're Valdemar," Trig replied. "I thought you people were, really proud of your language. You always use it when you can. All the Valdemar kids at school speak Valdem. The rest of us have to learn Valdem. Pentua's speaking it right now." The two children strained their ears. Pentua was still talking to the police on her phone, and sure enough, she was communicating in the Valdem language. Trig looked back at Tenna. For the first time, she was looking put out. She gazed down at the floor and made a kicking motion with her foot. Yeah, Tenna said. Back on Lightwater, the megachurch pastor, a guy named Alex, he said I never talked or acted like a Valdemar. I thought I was just different on Lightwater. You're saying I'm different from the Valdemar here, too?" Tenna's feelings were hurt, and Trig had no idea how to respond. "Well, you don't call me Berkey, and you don't drone on about finding your Aethera, but I honestly thought those were good things." Tenna looked up. "Wait, what's an Aethera?" she asked. "I hear people talking about them all the time, but I'm not sure what it means." Trig was caught off guard. How could a Valdemar person not know about one of the most important Valdemar customs? Aethera. You know, your mate, your partner, the person you pick to be with for the rest of your life?" Tenna giggled, then covered her mouth with her hands. Wait, she laughed. "You're saying that my people mate for life? Seriously? So I can only have, one boyfriend or whatever?" "Pretty much," Trig replied. "Sounds stupid the way I say it, but yeah." Then both teens burst out laughing. They sat down on the couch together. "Tell you what," Trig said, "I'll make you a deal. Teach me about the Great Khan, who I guess is my father now, and I'll teach you how to be Valdemar. Seriously. Pentua and her whole family are Valdemar. I've lived with her for years. I could show you the ropes." Trig was not being truly genuine in this moment. Like nearly all teenage boys, he was being blinded by a set of emotions he did not fully understand. He was greedily trying to monopolize his time with Tenna. He simply knew that he wanted to spend more time with her. A tiny voice in the back of his mind tried to remind him of something, but other voices drowned it out. Both Trig and Tenna were snapped out of their conversation by Pentua's reappearance. "Okay," Pentua said, holding her phone in one hand. "The police are busy dealing with the explosion at the school. They're going to send someone over here first thing tomorrow morning. We're going to get some food and rest now." While Trig and Tenna ate a hastily prepared meal of farm-fresh vegetables, Pentua set to work making the living room couch into a sleeping area. Pentua would spend the night here, while Tenna slept in Pentua's bed. "My bedroom locks from the inside," Pentua explained. "Those kidnappers you mentioned won't get in, but from what you've said, I think they're still on Lightwater." Once he retreated into his own bedroom, Trig opened his closet door and kissed his statue of the love goddess Ray. Then he picked up his tablet computer and opened a website belonging to the cult of Ray. With just a few button presses, Trig wirelessly transferred half of his monthly allowance to the cult. As soon as his money was spent, the website prompted Trig to speak into the microphone at the top of his tablet. A message appeared on the screen. "What do you request of the goddess?" "The girl you sent me. I like her, a lot," Trig said, his voice dripping with greed. "She's obviously here with me for a reason. Tell me, show me what to do." His mind racing with new, Tenna-centric fantasies, Trig was able to sleep without thinking of the day's events.